Okay, let's unpack this. So imagine you've put like everything into making this amazing TikTok video. You've nailed the trend, editing sharp, hooks perfect. You hit upload and, well, nothing. Just silence, right? It feels like your stuff just vanishes, lost.
Uh-huh. It's a real feeling for creators now, feeling invisible. I mean, TikTok in 2025, it's huge, so crowded, getting seen organically. That's tough.
It really feels like, yeah, less strategy, more luck sometimes.
Absolutely. That shouting into the void thing is spot on. The platform is just massive, over 1.6 billion users this year, they're saying. The sheer amount of content makes getting that first bit of traction, that early visibility, harder than ever.
Exactly. So when organic feels like, I don't know, paddling against a tidal wave, what are people doing? Our deep dive today looks at the sources you sent over, digging into this strategy people are turning to, using TikTok views, GRET services.
Right. And our mission here, looking at these materials, is to kind of cut through the chatter. We want to see what the sources say about how they work, why they're relevant now, and crucially, how you might use them effectively, ethically, according to the research, of course.
Yet it was interesting, the materials, they actually pointed to a specific place people look. They mentioned rapidboost.net.
Okay.
That's a website people use to, boost their TikTok and other social media profiles pretty quickly,
Yeah.
getting things like real followers, likes, views. The research sort of highlighted it as secure, scalable.
For both new creators and established ones needing that fast, reliable push.
Yeah.
And the perspective in the text wasn't like, here's a magic wand. It was more, maybe this is a data-driven tool,
Ah,
something to give you that initial spark, that momentum, if, and it's a big if, you use it right and the provider's legit, framed as a way to give good content a fighting chance, basically.
okay, so why now? Why are these services, according to the sources, such a big topic in 2025?
It comes
Yeah.
down to the scale, doesn't it? Absolutely. The scale is just mind-boggling. That 1.6 billion user figure, it means a constant flood of content hitting the algorithm. And the algorithm, smart as it is, relies heavily on those very early signals. Watch time, shares, comments.
Mm-hmm.
If your video doesn't grab those fast, it just gets submerged almost instantly.
Wow. And the research you shared had this stat that kind of jumped out at me. It suggested something like, what is this, 79% of viral videos actually get their big view surge after some kind of initial push, often in the first day or two.
Yeah, that 79% figure is really telling, isn't it? It implies that initial speed, that velocity, it's not just nice to have, it might actually be, well, critical. Critical for triggering the algorithm to show it more widely. Plus, there's that psychological thing the materials mentioned, the bandwagon effect.
Oh, right. Social proof.
Exactly. You see a video with thousands of views already, you're just naturally more curious. You think, okay, this must be good, or at least popular.
Yeah, social proof is huge online. So these services, if they're credible, the materials present them as like a strategic shortcut, a way to get that early momentum, put your video in a sort of faster lane for the algorithm, maybe skip that slow organic grind.
That's the idea presented, but and the sources were really clear on this, you need to know what you're doing. It's not just buying numbers. It's about getting the right kind of visibility from a reliable provider.
Transparency seemed like a big deal in the research. It warned about, bots or providers making wild promises. The key questions the sources said to ask were, how are the views delivered? Are they real accounts?
Yeah.
And importantly, does it comply with TikTok's rules?
Sustainable growth, according to the research, relies on potential for quality interaction, not just puffed up numbers.
Right.
And safety, well, that's paramount. TikTok's detection is sophisticated, so the materials stress that trustworthy services use gradual delivery, methods that look like real organic growth patterns, no sudden spikes.
Okay, that makes sense.
They shouldn't need your password. They should prioritize confidentiality, and they need to adapt to TikTok's changing rules. The idea of automated drip feed strategies came up as an example of how better services try to mimic organic growth safely.
Yeah, you want it to look and feel real to the algorithm and to actual people watching. The materials also talked about customization, like one size fits all doesn't really cut it anymore.
Exactly. The research indicated that the more advanced services offer targeting, so maybe your views from a specific region or people interested in, say, cooking, if that's your niche. Some even bundle in analytics to help you figure out what worked after the campaign.
Mhm.
That case study mentioned, Katie, the travel vlogger, that was a good illustration. She apparently used a campaign targeting Japanese travel fans. It didn't just boost views, it boosted engagement from the right people.
Okay, so that story really drives home that it's not just any views, it's getting relevant eyes on your stuff, eyes that might actually engage. So let's say you get that initial boost. How do the materials suggest you make the most of it?
Well, they hammered this point home again and again. The boost is just the start, a catalyst. The real win comes when you pair that push with genuinely great content that's non-negotiable. They talked about grabbing attention super fast, like in the first 2 seconds, high energy intros, putting a fresh angle on trends, keeping the video quality sharp, vertical format, all that good stuff.
Content is king or queen still.
Yeah.
And once you have their attention, keeping it is vital. The research mentioned that a good watch till the end hook could boost average view duration significantly, like over 24% potentially.
Right. And then you absolutely have to dive into your analytics afterwards. That was a big point. The sources advised looking at traffic sources, measuring things like view to follow ratios after the campaign, using that data to decide, okay, do more of this or stop doing that.
Smart.
They even suggested using campaigns alongside A/B testing, trying different video versions to see what hits best with that initial audience exposure.
Letting the data guide the creative, essentially. The materials also flag some common mistakes, right? Pitfalls to avoid.
Oh, yeah. The biggest one seemed to be just chasing vanity metrics, focusing only on the view count. Because loads of views, but hardly any likes or comments. That can look weird to the algorithm, might even hurt you.
Yeah. Red flag.
The advice was, set realistic goals. Aim for a balanced engagement. Views leading to likes, likes to comments, comments to shares, that kind of pyramid.
And crucially, the research really stressed that these services are meant to add to, not replace, real organic effort.
Exactly. You still got to be in the comments, using good hashtags, maybe doing collabs, actually building connections.
You can't just buy your way to a community.
No. And the sources strongly warned against shady tactics, like pure bot views or those aggressive follow things. The focus was definitely on finding trustworthy providers, people with a track record for safety and clear processes.
And I guess that's where platforms like the one mentioned earlier, RapidBoost.net, fit into the narrative in the source materials view. They were kind of presented as being set up for that secure, scalable boost using, as they put it, real engagement.
Across different platforms, yeah, including TikTok. Positioned as a partner so creators can focus on the content and community side.
Right.
It just reinforces that perspective in the texts. If you approach it strategically, ethically, meaning you pick the right service, you integrate it smartly, it can provide that essential early push in today's really competitive space.
Looking at the best practices the materials laid out, timing seemed really important.
Oh, crucial. Launching a campaign right when you post the video, especially if it connects to a trend or something timely. That seems key. That initial window the algorithm gives new content, that's when a strategic view surge can make the biggest difference. Maybe help you land on the For You page.
Catching the wave at the right moment. And for businesses, or even creators treating it like a business, linking TikTok to wider marketing efforts was mentioned too.
Yeah, cross-promoting on Instagram or wherever, using QR codes maybe, pairing paid views with influencer marketing, that case study of the indie musician. Combined a view service with Instagram ads, apparently got 200,000 Spotify plays. That shows the power of synergy.
Wow, yeah. Amplifying the results. It shows this doesn't happen in isolation. The materials also talked about balancing consistency and experimentation.
Right. You need a regular posting rhythm. The sources suggested aiming for, say, 2 or 3 times a week minimum. But you also need to keep trying new things, new formats, new trends, different editing styles, and running campaigns alongside those experiments. It helps you see what actually works with a broader audience based on the data you get back.
What about the compliance side? Ethical use. What did the materials say there?
The focus was really clear. Complying with TikTok's guidelines is non-negotiable, full stop. Reputable providers, according to the text, are upfront about how they comply, and they try to stay current with rule changes. Transparency with your audience, too, like disclosing sponsored stuff, that was flagged as important.
And thinking long-term, right, not just a quick, short-term boost.
Absolutely. Are the views from actual people who might genuinely care about your niche? Do they stick around? Are your analytics clean for potential brand deals later? The advice was to look for providers who show evidence of not just initial spikes, but retained attention and follow-up engagement.
That case study about Maya, the fitness coach, seemed like a good example of this in action. She apparently went from like 900 views to 15,000.
Yeah.
Got significant viral comments after using a targeted service.
Yeah, and that reportedly led directly to partnership inquiries, sales leads, even before she thought about traditional ads. It shows that for maybe micro-influencers or small businesses, this approach, done right, could potentially help them skip those really tough early stages of just getting noticed, provided they keep putting out great content and engaging authentically with the audience they attract.
So the materials you shared, they kind of wrapped it all up with what felt like an actionable game plan, distilled it down.
Yeah, pretty much. Step 1. Optimize your content like crazy. Hooks, trends, visuals, make it good. Step 2. Post consistently. Find your rhythm. Step 3. Choose your service provider really carefully. Check reviews, safety protocols, transparency. And yeah, the material suggested considering platforms like rapidboost.net in that mix.
Okay.
Step 4, integrate analytics right from the start. Track everything. Step 5, always balance any paid boost with real organic community building. And step 6, constantly review the data and adapt. See what's working, do more of that.
It sounds like a whole strategy, much more involved than just, buying some views and crossing your fingers.
Precisely. The materials framed it as a strategic tool, something to be used thoughtfully within your bigger content and community plan.
Okay, so let's bring it back to you listening right now. Why does digging into all this matter today?
Well, whether you're actually a creator trying to grow, or maybe a business wanting to reach people, or honestly, even if you're just curious about how stuff gets popular online, understanding these dynamics on a platform as huge as TikTok is, well, pretty crucial. In this world where there's just so much stuff, create something great isn't enough anymore. It doesn't guarantee anyone will see it.
Hmm.
This deep dive looked at strategies people are actually using to try and give their best work that chance, that initial push to cut through.
Yeah, it's about that fundamental challenge. Getting your voice, your content actually heard when it's so noisy out there. And the materials you shared, they left us with a pretty provocative closing thought, didn't they? Suggesting the algorithm kind of rewards the bold. People use strategies like this effectively.
It definitely leaves you with a big question, I think, for anyone trying to make an impact online. In this super fast, super competitive digital world where the data suggests initial speed can make such a huge difference, how much does that early momentum really matter? And maybe more pointedly, what are you willing to explore to make sure your voice or your content actually gets the chance it deserves to be heard?